We were absolutely fucking wrong.
Yeah. 1,000,000,000,000,000%.
The only thing we weren't wrong about was how good our defense is.
Correct.
Boy, were they good. Like, they were fast. They were aggressive.
Sounded totally sarcastic.
They did sound sarcastic.
Especially the look on your face. You're like,
I'm just trying to get over the hangover
I know.
of everything else that happened in the game. Defense was solid. Wow, that offense though.
yeah.
I have to start positive just simply because the show's going to get so negative. Our defense, we could not have asked any more out of them. We absolutely couldn't have. And I mean, at no point, especially in the first half, did I look at what Colorado was doing and say, "Oh, we can't keep up with them. Oh, they have superior athletes." I never once for a second thought to myself, Colorado's offenses, their athletes are superior to ours. I never thought that.
No.
Watching the game whatsoever. You put the defense on the field in the positions you put them in, and for as much time as you put them out there, there's no way that anybody can do anything different there.
Yeah. I agree with you that our defense did everything that they needed to do. I will, and I'm not trying to go. I know you said we're going to get negative eventually, but I'm not trying to get there immediately now.
They're now.
And I will explain myself better in a little bit when we do officially get into everything. They did leave some stuff on the field that they could have gotten off the field quicker at times.
Especially in the second half.
Well, even in the very first drive of the game. I mean, I know that it ended in a punt from Colorado, but you know, when you have 2nd and 24 and you end up giving up a first down 2 plays later, you have a 4th and 5 and you jump off sides.
There were 2 times.
And, you know, it's stuff, again, that's minor stuff. And I know that it's going to sound like nitpicking. And I know everybody that's listening and watching is like, are you fucking crazy? They play great.
No, but they did
Just
twice.
let me explain later.
They gave up 2 fourth downs in this game. They fucked up and gave up 2 fourth downs in this game. I will say, I'm not saying they played mistake-free ball.
Yes.
But they played well enough for us to win. If
100%.
If our offense was even, if they'd have just held on to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd have been below average, we had a shot at winning.
Yes.
But they were not below
Yeah,
average.
I'm saying
if our offensive coordinator would put our offense in good positions to make plays, we probably could have won that game too.
I'm simply saying if we would have held on to the ball, you just eliminate the turnovers in this. We go into halftime up, most likely up by 1 or 2 scores at least, and you're looking at a second half that looks totally different. That's my biggest takeaway from this game was the defense was battered and bruised by our own offense.
Yeah,
and so then it wound up looking like a shit show.
Not
like I said, you take 2 turnovers off the board where we were very clearly driving and we turned it over in their red zone. Those turn into touchdowns. This is a 36-28 game.
Yeah.
The touchdown, the first touchdown they scored, we turned it over inside of our own 35.
Mm-hmm.
Like this game very easily could have gone the exact opposite direction.
Yeah.
It's also incredibly hard to expect a defense to keep playing as well as they did in the first half when they don't have an offense to play for.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay motivated on the defensive side if you know that we're just going to go Butterfinger a snap and you're going to be right back out there?
Yep. This makes me instantly think of the way that starting pitchers are treated in Major League Baseball. If you aren't with run support, Chris Sale is a perfect example. He is one of the top tier elite pitchers when he's healthy over the last 8 years. He's been one of the most elite pitchers in all of the major leagues. No clubhouse likes him. He gets no run support, so he loses half of his fucking games. That's what we're looking at in this game, and it's only going to get worse for Jeff Sims and the offense if they continue to put the defense in positions to look like they gave up 36 points.
Yep.
That being said, Jed, how was the trip? Because you were there.
Wow, what a loaded question. You know, it sucked. The game did all of those things. The fans are just a travesty and a joke.
Their fans, you mean?
Oh God, they're so bad.
They're just. Was the atmosphere before the game as loaded and tense as it seemed like on TV? Because just even on TV, it seemed like everybody was just like ready to get in a fight.
So, I mean, well, I'm not getting into the questions yet, but my very first question that I asked you guys was my over/under on when my first shot of Jaeger was.
Oh, how did
Saturday
that turn
morning?
out?
And there was 5 o'clock as far as the over/under, and I did unfortunately hit the over on that. It was 5:15 for my first shot of Jaeger, but that was because we went out Friday night until like 1 in the morning.
You're getting old, Jed.
And also,
And you didn't stay up like
You're
we
getting
expected.
old.
no, but also, so I went to the Blur tailgate at the MC Suites, and that's where we were at before the game. So I don't really know how the intensity was in the parking lots and all those other things, because
That's a very controlled
the
atmosphere.
Blur thing was basically all Nebraska fans.
Sure.
And that didn't. One of the reasons why I didn't have my first shot until 5:15 was that Blur thing didn't start till 7. So it's like there's no real reason for me to get up much earlier than 5 when it starts at 7.
Sure.
So I can't really say how the atmosphere was before the game because I didn't really see any of that. We left the Blur party thing, I think, right after 9 o'clock, and it's like a 20-30 minute walk from there to the stadium.
Yeah.
And we walked straight to the stadium. So
there weren't people in crowds trying to pick fights or shit.
oh,
like
well,
that.
I mean, when we were walking, getting closer and closer to the stadium, were there people that were saying certain things and stuff like that? Nothing like over the top, like
Nothing like they
it
were
was
at the end
after
of
the game.
It wasn't throwing piss and
No,
snowballs full of rocks
No.
like it used to be back in the day.
where
'Cause
people
that was what was known was back in the day.
Yeah.
You drive your car up there, your car's getting keyed in the fucking parking lot. You're getting cups full of vomit and piss thrown at you, and
Gross.
Colorado fans are real classy.
I had an uncle who is a Colorado fan. He drove a convertible that was yellow that had the Nebraska plates in Colorado, like CU Buffs on the license plate. Just because it was a Nebraska license plate back in the day, his car got keyed. Like, these people are dumb. They can't even read the damn license plate that says CU Buffs on it.
CU Buffs, Cub Buffs. What are you talking about?
Low
What did
academic standards.
Did
is
he
that what
buff
this
his
is?
car too much? Idiots. Yeah, there was stuff, go back home, blah, 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 stupid crap like that. Hey, yeah, high five. And then I'd go to high five them because, whatever. And then they'd put their hand up and they'd laugh as if that was the funniest joke they'd ever heard in their
Oh, so
entire life.
you were hanging out with a bunch of third graders.
I guess, yeah. And, it's going to be a long day for you. And I look back, I go, yeah, the game's at 10 in the morning. Of course it's a long day, you dumb fuck. I mean, granted, he ended up being right, but still, at the time, it was just like,
So
Yeah.
a little different atmosphere than it was a week ago.
yes. When the game starts at 10 a.m., it's a long day.
Yeah.
Good. I get into the stadium and, say hi to a couple of Colorado fans just right where we're sitting, shake some people's hands, just say, hey, we come in peace, just making jokes, stuff like that. Hope it's a good game. We're just here for a good time, blah, 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 blah. And this guy that was directly behind me, he was cool, good conversation periodically, whatever else. I don't know if it was the heat or the beers that he was drinking or whatever else. About second quarter, halfway through the second quarter, when things started to kind of unravel for us, he started with the absolutely hilarious comment after every single play for Nebraska on offense. Tom Osborne would never let that play happen.
Jesus.
Then we'd snap the ball, do something. Tom Osborne would never let that play happen. Another one. Tom Osborne would never let that play happen. Every fucking play. Me and my cousin are sitting next to each other and we're just focused. We're not taking the bait, basically. He did switch it up in about the third and fourth quarter where he said one time, maybe even Frank Solich wouldn't let that play happen.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Classic.
Dude, seriously, you're hilarious. We when we left the stadium, just to jump forward for the story with that guy, we get a handful of blocks away from the stadium, and I look at my cousin and his girlfriend, and I go, so which one was the funniest for you with the guy behind me? Was it the first time he said Tom Osborne would never let that play happen, or the 80th time he said Tom Osborne would never let that play happen?
No shit.
I was like, my God, dude, seriously, that's when we were kind of talking before we started. I told you, I was like, yeah, there's at least one person I know that was in that stadium that remembers the rivalry from the good old days, because that guy clearly did.
No shit.
And it was just like, dude. But yeah, walking out of the stadium was an absolute travesty. I understand and I own it, wearing what I wear to games.
You're going to get it more than most.
I'm a walking neon sign.
Yeah.
That just flashes everywhere. So I get it, and I can take it. That's one of the reasons why I do it, because I can take it, no big deal. But man, when you're yelling, I've got a potty mouth. Some of the stuff made me blush. I was like, damn, never heard those combination of words before.
And it's native.
But I'm just like, why are you so angry? You live in a beautiful city, Boulder is. You just beat the shit out of us, and you're that fucking pissed off at us? And I told my cousin, I said, this isn't the best comeback in the world, but it's all I got right now. We just funded your head coach that you can't pay.
Yeah.
And you're that mad at us? Like, come on, man. Again, I'm not trying to tell...
And paid off cars for half the fucking season ticket holders.
I'm not trying to say that they should be like shaking our hands and saying thank you and doing all that stuff. I get the shit talk. Again, no big deal. But man, when you're just like, fuck you and you're a piece of shit, you should go back home to your cornfields and you're a shitty state and blah, blah. I was just like, really? Did you not see the scoreboard? Where you have a lot more than we did? And you're that angry? And again, I know that it sounds like I'm whining because we got our ass kicked. I'm not whining. I'm just telling you the story.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
Well, it's like a...
And I'm not trying to be the Nebraska fans are the best fans. I'm not trying to even be that way, like, because we got bad fans too. But
no, but we got beat in Minnesota, and we didn't get our asses kicked. No. They were gracious as fuck. Yeah, they all turned to us instantly. Hey, man, that's a tough way to lose. That you guys were awesome. You know,
where you guys were sitting at the Minnesota game. You know, you guys were one section away from me, and you guys.
We were surrounded by Minnesota.
You left the stadium before me and Ryan did, and there was a real tall guy that was right next to you because I saw him every once in a while when I was looking back at you guys. And me and Ryan started walking up that aisle that was in between our two sections. And he was still standing there celebrating. He actually walked over to the aisle and like pulled his hand out and shook my hand. He's like, hey, thanks for coming, blah, blah, good game, all that stuff. And I was like, thanks, no big deal, all that stuff. It's just like, why are you so angry? You're 2-0, you're ranked high. It's higher now.
That's like when Shedeur Sanders got on the mic.
Jesus.
I didn't understand any of what he did. He should be embarrassed for himself. His dad should be embarrassed for him. His brother should be embarrassed
They're not.
I don't understand. You get on there and first of all, you're making comments that were made in the offseason that did not involve your dad's name. You're making comments. Yeah, well, who cares if the media wants to interpret it that it was about him? There are people all over the country that are abusing the shit out of the transfer portal.
It's only Colorado. It's only Colorado.
It wasn't just Colorado. And he was talking bad. I have no respect for him as a man. A man doesn't talk about another man. Then.
He said something bad about my pops. He never said your dad's name.
Yeah, he never once.
Jesus.
And every time he was asked directly about Dion, he was nothing but respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but respectful. I didn't understand it, and there's already been enough backlash about it, and the media is doing what the media does. They love the story and what Colorado's doing, so they're going to continue to pimp them until they run into the buzzsaw that's going to be back-to-back Oregon and USC.
Yep.
And they're going to get exposed maybe not exposed that bad because, man, Oregon's got a pretty decent defense. USC doesn't have shit for defense, so that might be a shootout.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a TCU.
Yeah.
Colorado type game.
That might be a shootout. But either way, it's just to be as embarrassing. Like you said, what do you have to be so mad about?
You won.
Has your dad done such a good job manufacturing a chip on your shoulders that you guys actually you're not even in touch with reality anymore?
No. But BJ, they stood on the Buffalo.
Yeah, just like every other team does. Anytime they go to an opposing team's stadium, they stand in the middle of the stadium. A good coach brings his team out there and says, look around, take it all in. Now imagine it all full of fans. This is where you're going to be. This is where we're playing. This is where we win today. That's a normal fucking thing that they do in high school. They do it in fucking Pee Wee.
Yeah, for a team where 90 of the players
Still in that Buffalo
weren't a member of the school last
year. You know what that Buffalo
They're
means
that
to me?
passionate about the Buffalo.
I know.
They should know that Buffalo means a lot to me. What does that even mean?
Okay. Yeah,
It wasn't a good look.
He looked like a whiny baby back bitch is what he looked like.
Yeah. And like I said,
it's probably because his feelings got a little hurt because he found out and everyone else could see visibly, even though the score didn't show it and the stats didn't show it by the end. Everybody could see that they weren't as good as they had been touted up to be all fucking week long.
Yeah, if our offense could have been a part of the game, our defense would have kept doing what they were doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That first quarter where it was just punt would have continued if we didn't start putting the ball on the ground like we did.
If you take away Jeff Sims' horrible fumble in our first drive, we were very easily moving down the field on them.
Yep.
It looked like we were pushing in for at least we were already in field goal range. That was on the 31 of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing, and I'm really only going to say, I'm sure we'll get into Jeff Sims here in a minute, but I'm really only going to say this part is the most frustrating thing for me. I posted on our Twitter right after the game. Effort plays are a huge thing, and the most prevalent that it's talked about is in the NBA. Marcus Smart is a guy who's known for tenacious defense and effort plays. It doesn't matter who you are, who you're playing. He was always going to be the first guy diving on the floor for a ball, sacrifice his body, do whatever he has to do to try and get that ball. And that's for a one possession that's worth at max 4 points in an NBA game. And Jeff Sims couldn't be bothered to dive for the ball that he was already touching. Simply an effort thing on the first two fumbles that he had that's total effort. The loss of that fumble was an effort play. The Colorado guy dove, he didn't. He tried to pick it up and try to continue making a play or whatever the fuck he was going to do. If you simply just fall on the ball, especially the first one, your hands literally wrapped around it. And because a Colorado guy dove for it, he knocked you out of the way and was able to get it. It's an effort thing. That is something that I hate to say it, but that's coachable. That is something that should be fixed. So is looking up before the snap comes, but we'll get there.
I have to bring this up before we get into the questions. And I would say 98 to 99%, because we haven't really talked this weekend since the game, because I had my phone off most of the day Saturday and all that stuff. So for various reasons, mainly, again, because that stadium is an absolute shithole, for not just because of the fans that occupy that stadium, but they have zero reception in that stadium whatsoever. So this is going to be directed at, I had a handful of people that were texting me during the game and after the game. And again, I didn't get back to most of them because I was kind of saving it for this. Also, I wanted to calm myself down. This is directed at a handful of my cousins, Aaron and Adam, that I did not respond to you. A handful of friends, whether it's on my phone.
Straight call outs here.
Well, no, I'm just letting, I'm not calling anybody dumb or, I'm just saying these are
I'll let you get there.
These are who I'm directing this response to. Facebook messages, me tagged in Facebook posts, stuff like that. This is directed at people like you. Again, this is more than likely not directed at you guys whatsoever. I am not trying to say, so this is my disclaimer first and foremost. When I bring up anything else that I bring up after this is not me excusing Jeff Sims. This is not me taking blame away from Jeff Sims. This is not me saying the turnovers aren't a big factor or anything else like that. It's a lot like when we have basketball conversations and I say I don't think Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time. The immediate response is, oh, you think he sucks? No, I just don't put him number one. Just because I'm not putting all of the blame on Jeff Sims doesn't mean I think he's great.
You're not absolving him.
I am not absolving him whatsoever. But in a team game, I will never put the blame on one person. I will always, maybe kind of with our defensive conversation that we had, and I said at the very beginning, people watching this, people listening to this, is going to be like, how the hell can you say anything bad about how the defense played against Colorado? You're right. They played great.
Were there 36 points on the board?
Yes. Some of that was because we kept them on the field too much. You're right. But, again, I was never sold on this offensive coordinator from the very beginning. I had question marks with him. I don't think that he's putting the team in a very good positions on offense. How many times have I asked you guys, do we have any weapons on offense, on the outsides? Even before the season started, I had questions about that, and we've lost Betts and Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda since then. So we have even fewer weapons than I already had questions on. We had, in the Colorado game, we had two basically plays that put our offense in a good position with the quarterback that we have. We talked about it in the preview show last week, where get Sims out on the edge, have him rollouts, bootlegs, whatever else. We had two plays like that. Yes, he threw an interception on one of those plays. I get it. Not absolving him of any sins whatsoever. But you only run two plays like that. What are we doing? Like, why are you not calling plays that put the players that you are putting on the field in the best position? There are issues on this team. There were issues on this team coming in. We've seen it over the last 5 years. These are not getting fixed yet. Should there be something done? Yes. I don't know what that is. Sims has a lot of issues and leaves a lot to be desired. Yes, maybe there should be a quarterback change. I don't know. But at the same time, he's the best option we got right now. That's a bad thing to say. Like, oh, shit. But do we really want Heinrich Haarberg to throw the ball around? We've seen that in the spring game. We saw him throw that one ball down the field in the Colorado game that went way over the receiver's head. Yeah, he might have been jacked up. He's got a strong arm, but he's not accurate. Neither is Sims. In the game against Colorado, we had 3 guys drop a pass that was in their hands.
We did.
They were diving for it, but you're a Division I athlete on scholarship. Alex Bullock dropped one. He's on scholarship now.
That one was bad. Like that killed the drive.
And they could have gotten first downs on all of them. Like, catch the ball. Like, help the guy out. Sims is struggling. Help him out. He needs the other players around him to help him out as well. So the people that are just Sims, you're right. 100% you're right. He is a problem. He's not the only problem. That's my biggest problem. That's one of the reasons why I turned my phone off, because I just couldn't listen to it anymore. Like, the defense, like we talked about, could have gotten off the field, maybe saved their legs, because we said they got tired at the end of the game. That's why they were giving up all those other plays. One of the backbreakers of this game, in my opinion, was we're down 13-0 at halftime. We come out, we forcing them a punt on their first possession. We go down, boom, 57-yard touchdown pass, or run. Okay, we're down 1 score. Let's go. We come back out. Colorado has the ball. We almost force a 3-and-out. It's 3rd and 10 on like the 37-yard line. Make them punt. No, Tommy Hill gets lost. 41-yard pass down the sideline. And they end up scoring a touchdown. Backbreaker. Basically, game's over there. Because, I mean, we had opportunities to break their will. We gave up a handful of plays that kept their will alive. I said this after the TCU Colorado game. One of the worst things that you can do to a team like Colorado that likes to puff out their chest and chirp, chirp, chirp is give them confidence.
Yep.
We had a handful of plays that we could have squashed their confidence. We let them keep their confidence. I'm not placing blame. And this isn't even a percentage thing. Oh, 80% is this person, 20% is this person, 5%. There's blame to go around. It's a team game.
Team lost the game.
That's my rant. Yes, I think something needs to happen. I still trust that this staff will figure it out. Will it be this year? I don't fucking know. But I'm not quitting. So it's like, just relax. It's not all Sims' fault. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. I'm kind of starting to repeat myself now, but it's like, everybody needs to put the players in the best position from the top to the bottom. Yep. And the players need to execute when they are put in position.
We saw a lot of people post right after the game. A lot of people talk about right after the game. It's one of two things. Either he doesn't trust the rest of the quarterbacks in that room, or he doesn't actually mean it when he says, I hold people accountable and mistakes.
Well,
and
I got
got to hold on to the ball. Here's my thing. I understand both ways of looking at it. It's very obvious with the way that things went down on Saturday. He does not trust the quarterback room.
Correct.
I think that especially playing from behind, you don't have the thought to go to your backup because your true backup, if you're going to play from behind, is Chuba because you have to be able to throw the ball. And they've already said Harburg runs the ball really well. Chuba passes the ball really well. Well, he tweaked his ankle earlier this week in practice. He wasn't supposed to even be out there at all today. It didn't sound like he hardly did anything in warm-ups. And so then he got trotted out there because Harburg had to come off the field for a play because he lost his helmet.
Yep.
And so the people that are torching Rule about, the
double standard
could
stuff.
he have not made a comment like that in the press conference? I don't really understand why he doubled down on my decision's my decision, especially when you're holding out Anthony Grant, 1,000-yard rusher from last year, for one fumble in a game. Yes. Was that fumble atrocious? Yes. Has he had fumble problems so far leading up to the season? Yes.
It was also a great play by the Minnesota guy, but
it was. And all these things were also true. Just like what you said. Just because I say one thing doesn't make the other side wrong or I don't believe in it. I think Anthony Grant should have sat this game out or really only been relied on in minimal things until he can prove himself in practice that he's not going to be a Butterfingers. You don't put him on the field. At the same time, you don't tell the same rabid fan base, oh, well, I have to hold him accountable so he can't play. If you're going to say, I've got a guy with 7 turnovers heading into halftime of game 1.5, and I never even thought about taking him out.
So when I put,
it seems like a massive double standard, like you said.
I get that, but when I put my notes up from when I got home today and when I came over to record, the title of my little rant note thing was multiple things can be correct at the same time.
Oh yeah.
I don't disagree with the thought process of the double standard stuff. You can't hold one guy accountable this way and the other guy not. The quarterback position is a completely different position than any other position on the.
You're also talking about a running back room with 3 quality guys in it.
Technically, you can hold certain people to a different standard because of the position that they have on the field, and exactly with what you just said. There's more of a comfortability factor with the 3 running backs that you have in the room, or at least the top 3. Let's just go there. Than compared to the top 3 guys that you have in the quarterback room. There's a drastic difference in trust between number 1 and number 3. But also, the quarterback, there's one guy on the field. You typically play one guy at quarterback. At running back, you can play 3-4 guys at every game. You don't play 3-4 guys at quarterback every game. So yes, there is going to be a double standard when it comes to a quarterback. That's just the way football is. So, I mean, I agree. I don't like the double standard stuff, but at the same time, it kind of has to be acceptable at the quarterback position because that's what the position entails.
He's also the guy, and I don't want to hear any more of the Casey Thompson's gone. Look at how well we'd be doing if we saw Casey Thompson. Fuck off.
Did you see what Casey Thompson did against Ohio?
Don't care. I literally don't care.
It
doesn't matter whether it was good or bad. I literally don't care. It would not be. Would the turnovers be the same? No, but he doesn't fit this offense at all. We would not be able to move the ball the way that we have, even though it's been limited. It's also shut up about Casey Thompson.
He's gone.
You sound fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the other thing. He's gone. Stop it. Like, it's not like he can transfer back next week and, sorry, Casey, will you come back and please help us win games?
And it's funny when they say that he ran Casey Thompson off, Rule did. And Elijah told me out in Boulder, he said that Casey Thompson's dad was on their show, and he said that Rule went to them and said it'd probably be best if you transfer after spring practice. And to me, that's Rule looking out for a kid that has one more year left.
It absolutely is.
So, but the thing is,
you think Rule really wanted him gone? You think he wouldn't have rathered him be the backup?
Yeah.
He'd be a great number 2.
Come on. No, he went to Casey Thompson
or at least
and said,
to push.
Hey, you're a 6th-year senior. This is your last year. This is your only shot you have. And if you want to go to the NFL, you have to go find some place that you can play.
Well, and like Rob Zadiska had a thread on Twitter today. He was like, yeah, maybe he'd be better, but you also didn't have a true evaluation of Casey Thompson in this new system because he was still coming off the shoulder surgery. And like it would have been late in the process for him to really get evaluated in this offense in general. So they didn't truly know what they would have had with him, but they made the decision that they made in the moment. I'm big on like not looking back and reversing history. Like we've talked about many times with the Scott Frost stuff. In the moment of hiring him, when we hired him, it was the correct decision. Did it turn out the way we wanted it to? Obviously not. Does that make hiring him at the time that we did wrong? No, because it was the correct decision in the moment that we made the decision. Matt Rule made the best decision he could for his program in the moment that he made the decision. You cannot then go back and say that he did it wrong. It may not work out as far as the decision that he made, but it doesn't then make the decision wrong, 8 months later.
Yeah, hindsight's always 2020.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say, this is Husker hindsight.
Yeah. I mean, I made the joke to my cousin this morning when I was talking to him about all this. I'm like, this is probably an extreme example, but I'm divorced. Does that mean that my decision to get married was wrong? No. I made the good decision at the time. It didn't work out. It doesn't make it wrong now. Shit happens. You make the best decision you can in the moment that you're making the decision, and you move the fuck on. That's what everybody else needs to do. Move on. Because Casey Thompson played like shit against an actual team. His first game, he played great. He played Monmouth. Okay, cool. I hope he looks good against Monmouth because everybody should.
Cool.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm done with Casey Thompson bullshit. And I know when I go back to work tomorrow, I'm going to hear a lot of Casey Thompson from behind me, and I'm just going to be shaking my head going,
You work with the guy that sat behind you in the game?
no, yeah.
Tom Osborne never would have got rid of Casey Thompson.
Yeah, no shit.
Let's jump into the questions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to be any better than the conversation that we've been having because, oh boy, nobody did good in the questions.
Let's just finish off this loss and move on.
That's my big thing. We have to let this one roll off our backs.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I really enjoyed about Rule's press conference, because I really hated pretty much all of it, was when he said, I heard the first thing I said to the guys when I walked in the room, "Are you still with me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys still ready to keep doing this with me? Can you do this with me for one more week?"
And you know what? I only listened to about 3/4 of the press conference. One of the best things I heard out of that press conference, again, with the accountability from Matt Rule, is, and a lot of people want to say, "Oh, he's making excuses here." No, he's not. He's just explaining things. There's a big difference between making an excuse and explaining things. Keith Mann, the sports information director, at one point says, "We got 2 more questions," and then we get to 2 more questions, and Rule goes, "No, basically this game sucked. I deserve to sit here and answer more questions." And they had like 4 or 5 more questions. The accountability's there.
Yeah,
like full stop. So, I mean, I still like the guy. I mean, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, you're blindly defending." Fuck off, whatever.
He's
got an entire year before I have any sort of.
He got more than that.
He has 3 years for me.
Yep.
And here's the thing.
I'm saying before I have any sort of feelings about what's going on with the program, he's got a whole.
Which is why I said 1,000 times.
Then I'll start diagnosing what he's doing.
I do not have any expectations for this season because otherwise that means consequences.
You made the comment. You made the comment yourself that he is. I don't even remember how you said it, but I know that he has multiple times. I know in that clip where you were, basically after the Minnesota game, you told everybody to calm the fuck down. Mm-hmm. He's told us. He said it in a press conference. He jokingly said it, but he said the quiet part out loud. I don't know if I'm smart enough to get this done in year 1. Meaning, my style doesn't fit an instant turnaround.
No.
I'm sorry. In Colorado, you had a team that was the bottom barrel in a Power 5. They were able to literally dump the barrel out. The couple good ones that hung on, what did we say? There were 3 of them? Cool. Yeah. Then they flipped it over and they filled it up full of people that were better. All they had to do was go up. That was it. There was a boatload of people on that roster from last season that didn't deserve to play Power 5 football.
Well, and also
plain and simple. And Nebraska was not in that position. Nebraska had a lot of dudes that you couldn't just kick to the curb. They were talented individuals that deserved a place on this team. And he didn't have the ability to go out and completely turn it over the way that Dion did. He also didn't have the ability or the desire to go take this collection of coaches from everywhere around the country that none of them are going to be here next year. That's the thing. Dion is setting himself up to do a complete rebuild every year. It's like Kentucky basketball. That's what Dion's doing. And 1 year you're going to be 500. 1 year you might win it all. 1 year you're going to be 500. 1 year you might win it. There's no consistency. Rule's trying to bring Nebraska back to what Nebraska was, which was a respected program, a feared program, a program that isn't 1 year actually biting and the next year purring like a kitten in the corner. That's what he's trying to do. And if people are going to be completely impatient, this world that we live in, 3-minute clips at a time, everybody wants everything right now. Cool. Go be a fucking Colorado fan. You don't need to be here anymore.
Except for the 3-minute videos that we send out. Then
yeah, you need to listen. You need to watch this. But I'm serious. Like, seriously, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Well, stop being such baby-backed bitches and have a little bit of patience and faith.
And you know what? I don't really care about what everybody else wants to think. They can be super upset this whole year because we're not already, in talks of being in the playoff. I'm sure there are some fans out there that are like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect me. I know what I expect out of Rule and out of the next few years.
Yep.
And I'm going to stick to that.
And the people that say, well, if Colorado can just turn over everything and win immediately with a new coach, then why can't we? Because we're building something different. It can be built differently at every location. What Colorado is doing, not just because of the whole bringing everybody in and all, changing the roster over and all those other things. What they're doing is not the norm.
No.
The norm is to let it take a few years. Look at Florida State right now in year 4 under Mike Norvell. Everybody wanted him out in year 2.
They look like they could be in the playoff this year.
They're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like what Colorado is doing and the just handful of teams that are able to turn things around in year 1, that's not the norm.
No.
So relax.
It's also a
don't act like it is.
Where he happened to have a son who's also a 4-star established quarterback with 2 years of starting experience.
Yep.
That he's bringing in, and the son on the other side of the field with a year of experience who he brought in to lead the defense.
Yep.
Like those things are advantages that he had. I'm not making an excuse for anything.
No.
What he has
You're
done,
explaining. You're not making an
what
excuse.
he has done is tremendous. To this point, he beat a probably 5-win
to
TCU
the second
team
game in the season,
and a probably 4, 5, 6-win Nebraska team. That's what he's beat so far.
Yeah.
So congratulations. You're about to get a real test in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because the Pac-12 is tough.
The Pac-12 is not that tough.
Oh, Pac-12. I think Pac-12 is really tough.
I think Oregon's going to beat their dicks off, and then people
than
are going to shut the fuck up.
Big Ten.
They've got 6 teams in the top 25. With that, whatever that might mean, I don't. I'm not a big poll guy, but
look, and I'm also excited now we can stop comparing ourselves to Colorado.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's the biggest thing about this. You know what? The preview show on Wednesday is going to be nice and short. It's not gonna be that bad. But we do have a guest for that show, by the way.
Okay.
Mr. Mike Nanfito basically begged to be
finally
on the show. Well, he hit me up in like
months late.
In like the middle of the night last night.
Buddy.
All I get is a text that says, "I'm ready."
Okay.
I texted him back this morning. I was like, "Ready? You're ready?"
He knows he's supposed to go to the hospital after 4 hours.
I'm ready to be on the show. I got stuff to say. So we'll probably get a little more of a rant about Colorado. He was not a Matt Rule hire fan whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to hear his point of view next week. But
I actually have some debates on the show.
One of these days, I got to get my brother on too. He's been begging me to, so
let's do it.
Figure that out. Questions. Let's end this. Travis Hunter snaps. I put it at 110 because I based it off of roughly 130 snaps for this game. There was 137 snaps in the game. He played 91% of them at 125, so the overhit on that one big time.
I hope that kid stays healthy.
I do too, to be honest with you.
He's a great talent. I just don't see how it's possible.
And he's not a crybaby bitch like the quarterback is, so I actually kind of like him.
I will say this. I think we did a really nice job of containing him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
At least until we kind of gave up.
I mean, he only had 73 yards on 3 catches.
Yeah.
Yep.
He didn't have anything else on offense.
God, that one kid, though, Weaver.
Yeah.
He lit us up.
Really good.
He's fast.
He's pretty quick. Missed tackles by Nebraska. This was one of my keys, at least, as far as tackle. I put it at 11.5. How many do you think we missed in that game?
6.
9.
I was kind of surprised by this number. So it hit the over. We missed 14 tackles according to Pro Football Focus. Yeah.
I'd have to go back and rewatch.
I'm guessing most of those.
Are they counting missed tackles for a couple of them that dove at guys that didn't even actually touch them?
I'm guessing most of those are towards the end of the game.
Okay,
when
that's
they kind of
possible.
started
Yeah,
I'd go. That is surprising to me.
Yeah,
Weaver broke out of a couple.
The way that our defense played, though, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I look at that and I'm like, I'm surprised it was that much, but I still don't. I think they still played great. So, like, whatever. They had Colorado at only missing 9 tackles. So,
yeah, we had 8 sacks.
Yeah.
That's the most since Sioux in 11.
Yeah.
When Texas came down, that's a huge number.
So yeah, everybody missed that number, those first 2 questions, because we all agreed, and so did the fans. By the way, they all agreed on those 2.
Well, we all saw the game as a whole going differently. So
Yeah,
makes sense.
Tight end targets, I had it at 6.5. This was another one that I thought. I'm sorry, I skipped one, number 3. Who will have the most rushing attempts for Nebraska? Gabe Ervin led the team with 17 carries. Me and the fans had that one right. Tight end targets at 6.5. You want to guess how many targets they had?
They were more involved.
3?
No, it was higher than that.
Well, they had 4 catches. The 2 tight ends.
Yeah, I'd guess 8 or 9.
They had 7 targets, so
Okay.
half more than I had the number 4.
You
So,
set the line right.
and we all had the over.
Yes.
All 4 had the over. Receptions by freshman wide receivers. I was the only one to take the under, and they didn't even have a target. So
Which is crazy because they were on the field.
big fat fucking 0. Yeah, they were.
That doesn't make any sense to me. But also,
He only threw the ball 15 times.
Yeah,
exactly.
and honestly,
Just said half of them were tight ends.
and that was why I took the under, because I didn't think that we were going to throw the ball that much. It's like the opportunities, I just didn't think were going to be
The
there.
thing about not having that many opportunities as a whole.
Yeah. Total punt returns by Billy Kemp, 15.5. A big fat fucking 0.
Yeah, he didn't actually attempt one.
No.
Their punter was really good though.
Yep.
You were
He did a really
Their
nice
coverage
job.
was really good too.
you were the only one to take the under, Matt.
I gotta say though, Billy, nice job catching the ball this game.
Yards after catch for him.
That first little 5 curl route that he had for 20 yards.
The way that we
He's
started
a
the game,
quick motherfucker.
the way we started the game, I thought for sure, especially based on the way they were instantly going after him.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be such a different game.
I know.
Especially for somebody under 3 foot. He's just really.
I do have to give mad props though to the game plan that Colorado's D coordinator came up with.
Jump on the ball when it's on the ground. Yeah, they nailed it.
Jesus. No, but the shift from what they played last week to the way they played this week was tremendous.
Yeah, Billy Kemp had 7 targets, 5 catches.
He had a good game.
I'll take it. Jeff Sims total yards 224.5. He had 173. Even if he didn't get injured, he's not getting over that more than likely. Everybody took the over. Shedeur Sanders 324.5. Definitely went over that.
Where did he end up? Was he over 4?
393, almost. Everybody took the under,
and 300 of those I think were in the second half.
That's what it felt like.
They
250 at least was in the second half.
They couldn't move the ball until we started giving it to them towards our end zone.
Number of guys. Last question for me. Number of guys for Nebraska with a 100+ total yards with receiving and rushing only. I put the number at 2 for the possible push, and once again, the under hit a big fucking 0.
So you know what's funny is
the fans were the only ones that took the under on that.
I posed that when I originally sent you that question. I posed it as who would have more players, and between both teams, there was only one player.
Yeah,
and that was that Edwards or Weaver. Yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, Weaver had 100.
Weaver was like 190 something.
140, 170. Excuse me.
Yeah, it was
total, and that was the only player in the whole game.
That's shocking. For as many yards were accumulated in the game.
So of all we had 9 questions. I got 3 right. I had the most. I'm not bragging about that because that was also still really bad.
Yeah.
Matt and the fans had 2, and BJU had 1.
Hey, you got one, buddy.
Yeah, I won last week
by 1.
What are our totals at? Do you have them?
And I had them.
They're
not very high.
It was rough
again. You won last week with what? 3?
Yeah, something like that.
It was,
and I think I had 2, and so I have 3 today. So I'm up 1 at least.
Vegas is going to be calling you. They need you to put some numbers in.
Put the numbers in, kid. Now very disappointing.
Yeah,
I want to put it behind us.
Super
I
disappointed.
told Tabitha before you guys got here, I was like, I don't even really want to do this show. I spent half the day yesterday sulking. I feel like it ruined the mood. Nobody wanted to do anything after the game. I planned on day drinking and having fun and whatever, and everybody was like,
it legitimately
"Nope.
gave me a headache.
I'm going home. I'm done."
That Blur tailgate went until 5 o'clock on Saturday, and so we were planning on going back there drinking and hopefully partying. I mean, there was still a good chunk of people there, playing cornhole and stuff like that. But otherwise, people were just kind of sitting around watching the games that were on the TV and just, we're just going to sit here. Since
most of the games were just kind of meh as well.
Yeah. So it's just like, this kind of sucks that we can't celebrate, but we're going to hang out and drink a little bit. And then we went back to the hotel, and I was feeling like dog shit. But we went to a sports bar to watch the Texas-Alabama game. And
called that one, man.
I wanted to be wrong because I fucked Texas, but whatever.
They dominated that game.
Yeah, they did.
Look, it wasn't even a lucky win. They dominated that game.
Look, it was a rough game to watch. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff to build on, but we got 2 weeks where we can do a lot of that building, and hopefully by the time we got Michigan coming around, it's a different looking football team.
And before we officially move on, I just want to say one last time, Colorado fans, fuck you.
45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. He's gonna go. Holy cow.
Big Red Junkies.
Game by day. Game by day. He gets better and better. He gets better and better. Team is JPB. Oh man, woman and child, he just turned this stadium inside out.